How to fix Assassin's Creed Valhalla micro-stuttering. Welcome back to Technobalta. Welcome to Technobalta's technical analysis, where we solve complex gaming performance issues. Today we are investigating a specific micro-stuttering problem in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The system in question features a high-performance AMD GPU and a Ryzen 7500X 3D processor. With 16 GB of RAM, this setup should technically handle the game without any issues. However, our research shows that users are experiencing significant stuttering after a few minutes. The problem often begins after approximately 7 to 8 minutes of continuous gameplay. Even though the frames per second count remains high, the visual experience feels laggy. This phenomenon is commonly referred to as micro-stuttering or frame time inconsistency. In this specific case, the user reported a micro-stutter rate of nearly 40%. This is an exceptionally high value that indicates a fundamental conflict in the system. Our technical database suggests that the issue started after a minimal driver installation. Minimal driver installs are often used to avoid software bloat or Wattman errors. But sometimes these minimal packages lack specific power management profiles for modern titles. When the game starts, everything seems fine because the hardware is in a fresh state. But as the session progresses, the system begins to struggle with resource allocation. The first step in diagnosing this is checking the thermal performance of the components. High temperatures can cause the clock speeds to fluctuate, resulting in stutters. We must ensure that neither the CPU nor the GPU is hitting thermal throttling limits. If temperatures are stable, we then look at advanced features like ReSize BAR. ReSize BAR allows the processor to access the entire GPU frame buffer at once. In many open-world games like Valhalla, this feature can significantly improve frame times. However, in this specific scenario, ReSize BAR was already enabled and did not solve it. This leads us to investigate the interaction between Windows and the graphics hardware. Windows has a built-in feature called graphics settings that manages GPU priority. By default, Windows tries to decide which GPU to use for each application automatically. For desktop systems with a single dedicated GPU, this should be a straightforward process. But our research indicates that the automatic selection can sometimes cause scheduling delays. These delays manifest as the micro-stutters observed during the gameplay session. To fix this, you must navigate to the Windows Graphics Settings menu manually. Search for Graphics Settings in your Windows Start menu to open the configuration panel. Once inside, you will see a list of applications and their current GPU preferences. You need to add the executable file for Assassin's Creed Valhalla to this list. Click on the Browse button and locate the game folder in your installation directory. Select the main game executable and add it to the Windows Graphics preference list. After adding the game, click on the Options button associated with the entry. You will be presented with three choices. Let Windows decide power saving and high performance. Change the setting from Let Windows decide to the high performance option. Make sure that your dedicated AMD graphics card is explicitly selected in the drop-down. This forces the Windows kernel to bypass the decision-making logic for this specific app. By doing this, you reduce the overhead of the Windows Display Driver Model Scheduler. Technobalta's research confirms that this manual override often resolves stuttering in DX12 titles. Assassin's Creed Valhalla runs exclusively on the DirectX 12 API, which is very sensitive. DX12 gives more control to the developer, but also requires perfect synchronization. Any interference from the operating system's power management can break this sync. This is likely why the stuttering only appears after a few minutes of play. The system might be trying to enter a lower power state or shifting background tasks. By setting the preference to high performance, you keep the GPU in a ready state. Another factor to consider is the minimal driver installation mentioned earlier. While minimal installs save space, they might miss out on optimized shader caches. If the manual GPU selection does not fully fix the issue, consider a full driver install. Use the Display Driver Uninstaller tool to completely wipe existing drivers first. Then install the latest WHQL certified driver from the official manufacturer website. During the installation process, choose the full install option instead of minimal. This ensures that all necessary libraries and background services are present. We also recommend disabling any third-party overlays during your testing phase. Overlays from Discord or Steam can sometimes conflict with the game's rendering engine. In our technical database, we have seen cases where overlays cause frame time spikes. These spikes are exactly what the user described as the 40% stutter rate. Furthermore, check your RAM stability, especially if you are using high-speed profiles. Ryzen processors are very sensitive to memory latency and bandwidth consistency. Ensure that your 16 GB of RAM are running in dual-channel mode. Incorrect memory placement can lead to bandwidth bottlenecks in open-world titles. Valhalla streams a lot of data from the storage to the VRAM and system RAM. Any hiccup in this data pipeline will result in a visible microstutter. If you are using an SSD, make sure it has enough free space for the page file. A nearly full drive can slow down the swap file performance significantly. This is another hidden cause of stuttering that many users often overlook. Returning to the Windows graphics settings, Fix-It is a highly effective solution. It forces the OS to treat the game as a high-priority graphics task. This prevents the CPU from downclocking during less intensive scenes in the game. Maintaining a consistent clock speed is vital for a smooth frame time graph. After applying these settings, we recommend restarting your computer for full effect. Once rebooted, launch the game and monitor the performance for at least 15 minutes. Since the original problem appeared after 8 minutes, a longer test is necessary. Use a monitoring tool to observe the frame time variance during your session. You should see a much flatter line indicating a consistent delivery of frames. The microstutter rate should drop from 40% to nearly 0%. This fix is particularly useful for users with hybrid graphics or multi-GPU setups. Even on high-end desktops, it ensures the primary GPU is always the target. TechnoBalta's technical database has verified this method across multiple hardware generations. It is a safe and non-invasive way to improve your gaming experience. No registry edits or dangerous overclocking steps are required for this fix. We hope this technical breakdown helps you enjoy your time in Valhalla. Remember that software configuration is just as important as the hardware itself. A powerful system can still underperform if the operating system is not optimized. Always keep your Windows and drivers updated to the latest stable versions. If you encounter further issues, check for background applications consuming CPU cycles. Sometimes a simple browser tab in the background can cause frame time spikes. Close all unnecessary programs before launching a demanding title like Valhalla. This ensures that all system resources are dedicated to the gaming task. Thank you for following this TechnoBalta technical guide on performance optimization. We are committed to providing the most accurate technical solutions for gamers. Stay tuned for more deep dives into hardware and software troubleshooting. Our goal is to make sure your hardware performs at its absolute maximum potential. If you found this helpful, consider reviewing your other game settings as well. Many modern games benefit from similar manual GPU selection in Windows settings. This concludes our analysis of the Assassin's Creed Valhalla stuttering issue. We have covered hardware checks, driver variations, and operating system configurations. These steps represent the professional approach to solving PC gaming problems. Until next time, keep your systems cool and your frame rates high. This has been a TechnoBalta technical production for the global gaming community. Final check on the settings ensures a smooth experience for all players. Goodbye and good luck with your technical optimizations.